Hello, Earth dwellers. I hope your day is as beautiful as mine has been. We are coming up on our 40 days of Yoga Nidra practice series starting January 4th. If you want details about that, links are below. And I have been reflecting on different things that I've learned from exploring Yoga Nidra and related practices over the years. I always tell people that for me, Yoga Nidra feels like it has saved my life multiple times. And I've also called Yoga Nidra a treasure. And I think some of the reasons that I say those things is because for me, Yoga Nidra offers a teaching and an awareness that is so simple. It's available to almost everyone. Basically, if you can breathe and direct your attention, you can practice this practice. And some of the things that come as a felt sense knowing, an embodied knowing of who we are with Yoga Nidra, and the skill set that we develop, which is probably one of the most fun skill sets that I've had to develop in my whole life, because it's all about ease and non-doing. So when we practice Yoga Nidra, it's not a skill set that we have to struggle and strain to achieve. Rather, it's a process of gradually undoing and releasing, loosening and relaxing all the different layers of the things that we've learned, so that we can return back to our essential nature that is wisdom itself. I know, sounds deep, right? Well, it is. So today, what I wanted to explore and share with you is one of the things that I feel Yoga Nidra constantly and continuously inspires me towards, but also points to as a major teaching, is the practice of settling into oneself. What do I mean by this? Well, on a very practical and simple level, settling into oneself, to me, is about bringing the mind back to where the body is, establishing the attention in the body, and then letting the mind that is in the body relax. As one of my teachers, Indu Aurora, has said, let the mind that is in the body relax. And to me, that is such a powerful statement and a reminder that through the course of our life, we are so oriented towards doing most of the time. And there's nothing wrong with that until something comes along as an experience that perhaps impedes our ability to do things the way that we have always done them, or as quickly as we've done them, etc. And some of us don't have many of these experiences. Maybe we have an injury or a temporary sickness or something that sets us back, but we agree that we'll put things aside momentarily so that we can immediately come back to doing as soon as we feel better. However, we all go through the journey that Richard Miller has beautifully articulated as the law of awareness, that everything that arises in our existence, whether it's an idea, a role that we play, a possession, an object, or even our own life, our own human body mind, everything that exists in this realm is subject to the law of awareness, which means that it arises, it develops and changes. It may have a period of stabilization and growth. Then it begins to disintegrate and eventually dissolves back into the source. It's a fancy way of saying that everything, including our own bodies and minds, has a beginning, has a middle, and has an end. And if we are too much oriented towards the realm of doing and expressing, and we love the beginning and we love the growth and we always want that, but we really don't know anything about that time of starting to dismantle and disintegrate and letting go and dissolving. If we spend our whole life chasing after the growth and discovery and doing without acknowledging that the second side of that coin is going to be letting go, declining, we're going to end up with some suffering. And I see this in myself. I see it in my loved ones as we get older. And many of us, that there is a time that comes in our life where we are not able to approach life only from the stance of being the doer. And so how can we empower ourselves to meet the experience of letting go from a place of trust, from a place of knowing that we can open up into a different mode of our being? And this mode of being, as opposed to doing, was something that I wasn't even aware of before I started exploring the practices of yoga, and particularly Yoga Nidra. Yoga Nidra is a systematic way of discovering our capacity to drop deeper in and through the layers of doing, to arrive back at the being that is already omnipresent. It's already here with us. So, coming back to this notion of settling into ourselves, one of the ways that I've found to apply these practices very effectively in the midst of a busy life of doing is to have time to discover little moments of practice, right? So see if you can start to be curious about, when might there be an opportunity for me to practice settling into myself, and what might that look like? And I'm going to offer you a little practice here that we can try together to share. So for me, I talked about bringing the mind back to where the body is. And there's so many opportunities for us to practice this throughout our day whenever we have a pause. So if you're sitting in your car, you can do this. This is one of the few things you can do, practices, while you're driving. If you're sitting at a stoplight, you have the opportunity to settle in to yourself. If you're waiting in line, anytime you're waiting for anything, even sitting at your desk and you're waiting for a page to load on your screen, you have the opportunity to use that time to settle into yourself. And you might notice that normally what we do is we let our mind go somewhere to think about what's next, or what we're going to do after this, or those are some of the things my mind will do. In the guise of being productive, the mind will take my prana, my life energy, and take it out into the future, or ruminate about something in the past, or think about an idea or something that I could do, but I can't do it right this moment. I could do it some other time. So really what's happening is the energy that's present right now, that's serving life, is being siphoned off by the mind into past and future thought forms. Nothing wrong with it until and unless we have no choice but to be present, and or we're experiencing any signs of depletion, any signs of being overtired, any signs of stress wearing on our body-mind system. So if that's you, in one of those two categories, you have some limitation on your ability to do and achieve, and or you're experiencing signs and symptoms, whether subtle or gross, of stress on your system. I think that accounts for about 99.9% of human beings on the planet right now. So if that's you, then settling into yourself, learning how to bring the mind back to where the body is, and how to allow that mind in the body to relax. This practice can be a treasure for you. It can be a source of beginning to come back to a state of well-being repeatedly throughout the day. So I'm not going to try to sell you on it or whatever. I just want you to know that the whole idea of settling into oneself, and the notion that this can be practiced in a moment throughout our day, that's what I want to offer to you today, along with a sample practice. And then I would love to hear from you. I would love to have you, I'm inviting you to experiment with this practice and notice what you notice. How does it affect your life experience, your experience of yourself in the moment, your experience of your day, any other effects you may notice? The invitation here is that we can be a global community of practitioners experimenting with these teachings that come from these ancient sources of the beings, the rishis, the great seers and knowers who ventured into human consciousness so deeply and came back with these teachings to help us understand how our body and mind works, how we work plugged in with nature. So settling into ourselves can be such a basic thing that we practice, and see how powerful it can be for you. So I'm going to go ahead and settle into myself right now, and know that when you do this, you don't even have to be in any particular special body position. I often find that for myself, like I'm seated in a chair here, so I'm going to go ahead and lean back and just let myself be supported in the chair. So what I find is that wherever I am, when I have the intention to settle into myself, I start out by becoming aware of the position of my body and allowing myself to make any adjustments that would feel more comfortable in the body. And I find that oftentimes I'm sitting hunched over or crossed up, twisted up. And so sometimes uncrossing the legs, if I'm seated in a chair, letting my feet touch the floor, relaxing, letting my spine lengthen and feel supported, perhaps supporting my head, resting my hands palms down if the mind is very active and I feel like I need containment, or holding the hands in the lap, one hand over the other, whichever one is comfortable for you. You can try that. Those are often good things. You can also place your thumb right in the palm of your hand here. And I like to hold it like this. So you see the thumb is just resting and my hands are resting comfortably in my lap. This contact of the thumb on Tal Hridaya Marma of the palm helps to calibrate our life energy, and it also brings a sense of reassurance and connection. So you can try that for yourself. Alternatively, if I'm feeling expansive or I want to invite surrender, I can rest my palms turned up. So these are all different ways. If you're holding a steering wheel, if you're doing other things, washing dishes, etc., you don't have to be in any particular body position. You don't even have to hold still necessarily. It's about bringing your attention into your body. So now that you've become aware of your body position, you've started to adjust. If you're doing something, maybe it's as simple as shifting your weight to be more equal on both feet, through both legs. You start to feel that connection through the central core of your body, your spine. And then becoming aware of the breath. So now becoming aware of the body, becoming aware of the breath. And as you become aware of the body, if the body is seated, if you're in a relaxed position, allowing wherever the body is supported, even if you're standing, where the body is touching the earth, allowing it to begin to relax. Any kind of small relaxations that can happen in your body, and the breath awareness will help you with this. So as you deepen your breathing, you begin to feel more fully, clearly what's happening in the body. You begin to discover areas where perhaps you can relax into your body. Now, if you're in a place where you can comfortably close your eyes, this can absolutely be wonderful to let your attention seek inward and let your attention sink inward and simply rest with the breath and the felt sense of being in this body. You might even feel a sense of circulation, the pulsation of blood in your palms or your face or your hands. If it's not appropriate for you to close your eyes wherever you are, you can rest with the eyes open, keeping the breath anchored simply in this awareness of body and breath. Letting thoughts come and go through the mind space. No need to engage with thoughts or to suppress them. Thoughts are being generated just like rays of sun coming from the sun. So let the thoughts move through the mind space and remain anchored with your attention in the felt sense of the body and the breath. Let yourself be receptive to the experiences around you, the sounds in the environment. If your eyes are open, instead of looking around, see if you can relax your gaze and let the colors and light come into your eyes, as if you're no longer seeking to see, but let seeing become receiving. In the same way, feeling the touch of the floor, of the chair, of your clothing on your skin, any movement of air in the space. Being aware of any fragrance that may be nearby or the fragrance of your own body. The sound of the breath. And simply see how it feels to be settled within yourself. Connecting into that subtle awareness of the you that is already always present, the omnipresent self that you are, the presence. Acknowledging, I am that presence. So wherever we are, whatever we may be doing, we can come back to this awareness of being the presence, not just by saying it in our mind, but allowing ourselves to come back to the bodily experience of being here as a human being, as a prana being. So I would love it. That's it. It's so simple. And I would love to hear from you. What is your experience with this practice? And let me know what you enjoy about it and how it supports you in understanding more about your own relationship with being and doing. I'll see you next time.